Watari kun's asterisk is about to collapse is an anime airing right now. It's a rom-com. It's kind of fine. But I wanted to talk about it because if the gender roles were reversed, it would change from rom-com into horror. As a rom-com, it's okay. The main premise is that Naoto Watari, or Watari, I'm terrible with the names, is responsible for his little sister, and he's kind of jokingly portrayed as a siscon, but they're under their aunt's care. And a childhood friend of his, or acquaintance, Satsuki Tachibana, makes a reappearance in his life. They knew each other when they were about 10. She destroyed his whole garden, and now she's reappeared when he's about 16. She's essentially a stalker and kind of just forcing her way into his life, pretty much when he doesn't want to be around her. And he actually has a crush on Yukari Ishihara, who ironically is attracted to him because he doesn't openly hit on her and sexualize her, even though he does have a crush on her, because his priority is his little sister. And this is just one of those fascinating things where it's all portrayed as kind of a joke, and I'm assuming that he's going to end up with Satsuki in the end, because that's how rom-coms go. And she's a childhood friend, which usually means they lose. But that's not really the vibe that I'm getting from this one. But if you were to put like that stupid stinger or like the weird dramatic tension music over these scenes, it would work just as well as kind of a thriller suspense deal, because Satsuki is a stalker and just invading his personal life and causing issues in his relationships. And it's kind of a shame that the concept is so yandere motivated, because it actually does do some decently interesting things. Like, I actually like the dynamic with his sister and himself, where he feels responsible for her to the point where it's unhealthy, and she is clingy to him also to the point where it isn't healthy. Like, she doesn't like when other girls are around because she gets jealous. She thinks they're going to take his time away. He finds her grades because she says that she needs him to be a tutor. And when he finds the grades, she's actually like a perfect student. And these things are interesting because, first of all, they're pretty believable. But also, when you're dealing with kids who are like 10 years old, it's kind of cute and it's okay to be that immature. And it's not like adults doing that sort of thing where it's manipulative and toxic. Like in the scene on the screen, Naoto wakes up and Satsuki is in his bed just watching him sleep. Super easy to envision this being portrayed as a horror because it is creepy, instead of just being laughed off as like, oh, haha, poor you have the hot chick stalking you type deal. So it is a bit frustrating that some of the dynamics in the show work pretty well. And then because these dynamics are applied to much older people all around them, it makes it like weird. And there's a decent amount of fan service. If you're into that, if you're into the love triangle, you might enjoy the show. To me, the show is just okay, but it's just a bit too weird. Also, him putting up with it is reflective of kind of how men operate and how simple they are. That if an attractive woman is just aggressive enough, she can pretty much just break a guy's will. At least for a lot of men. And there's the whole typical thing of the nice guy has the most popular girl in school, has a crush on him. He has a crush on her while everyone's telling him to give up. So it does kind of the generic rom-com things as well. Overall, I would say it's just fine. And it's not like this is the first time in life or TV that a show will have double standards in its execution. Another show airing right now called Call of the Night, which is a show and manga that I actually like, is about like a 35 to 40-year-old vampire chick who looks like a teenager hanging out at night alone with like a 14-year-old boy. And she kisses him and kind of romanticizes her feelings for him. And everyone's just cool with it because, sexy goth vampire chick. That one I think you can at least rationalize a little bit, as for a vampire born that way, she is an adolescent. So it's not like a 35-year-old human woman talking to a 14-year-old boy, but that's all sort of how much, charity do you want to give to the premise. There's actually a similar discussion around Mass Effect, because the aliens age at different rates. So even though Liara is like 110, she's viewed as like a teenager, but nobody's going to criticize a 28, 30-year-old Shepard for dating a 110-year-old who seems like an adolescent in her society. And meanwhile, people shit all over Mushoku Tensei because Rudy is a 40-year-old man in a child's body, obviously has sex with a 13-year-old when he's physically 13, but mentally like 45. That one's a bit more complicated. I don't want to go off the rails here with this. Although I will say for that series, I completely understand why people don't like him enough to just stop watching, because Rudy was a pedo in his previous life, and he's super perverted even as a baby and even with children. So while a big part of the story and the themes is becoming a better person over time, if you think his starting point is too low for you, I completely understand. But like I said, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here. There's just not a lot to say about this show. It's kind of generic. She's a stalker, and I think it's being pretty overlooked because of the genders. Whatever. I'll leave it there for this one. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. Try to respond in the comments that aren't just insults. Like and subscribe and all that shit. Thanks. See ya.